you would agree that this is calling for the destruction of the state of Israel. This is after the
No, Senator.
No, it's not. This isn't calling for the killing of Jews.
I don't know that person, and I don't know that sign. So
You don't know what this means?
I don't think.
You haven't seen this before? Did you see these protests on?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a bit different, and honestly, it's intense. We're diving into a heated Senate hearing where Senator Josh Hawley confronts an Arab American leader about hate speech and violent protests on college campuses. Senator Hawley starts off by asking some pretty direct questions. He's speaking to a leader who recently praised the protests happening on college campuses across the United States. These protests have been about the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine. Hawley jumps right in, asking if these protests are truly about human rights or if they're promoting something much more dangerous. Hawley looks down at a sign from one of these protests, reading aloud the words which state, "Long live the Intifada." He then asks, "Is this what you mean by a human rights movement?" The leader tries to explain that Intifada just means to shake off or get rid of, but Hawley's not having it. He presses harder, suggesting that this chant is not about human rights, it's about the destruction of Israel. The leader seems unsure, even admitting that she doesn't recognize the specific sign. This is where things start to get really tense, and it becomes clear that Senator Hawley has a lot more to say. Next up, Hawley really zeroes in on what these protests are doing. He brings up Jewish students who've been personally attacked and even prevented from going to class after the October 7th attacks on Israel. He's clearly frustrated, asking again if this chant, "Long live the Intifada," is hate speech. The leader tries to say that it can have different meanings, which Hawley finds ridiculous.
Ms. Berry, let me just start with you. You said in response to a question from, I think it was Senator Graham, you praised the protests going on campuses. I just want to make sure I got this right, so you correct me now, as a national organic human rights movement. What did you mean by that?
The mass movement in support of Palestinian human rights is happening on college campuses across the country after students are learning more about the history of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict and the specific targeting of Palestinian human rights. Yes.
Oh, okay. I just want to be clear about what you're praising and not praising.
Well, praising.
Let's have a look here. So,
yeah.
This long live the Intifada.
Yeah.
Is this an example of the what did you say, national organic human rights movement that you mean? Is this a human rights movement?
I'm not sure that using the term Intifada, which literally just means to like shake off or get rid of, is effective, as most Americans don't actually associate it with a human rights issue. So I don't think that's effective. No, Senator?
Wait a minute. You don't think it's effective, but you would agree that this is calling for the destruction of the state of Israel. This is after the October.
No, Senator.
No, it's not. This isn't calling for the killing of Jews.
I don't know that person, and I don't know that sign. So
you don't know what this means?
I don't think.
You haven't seen this before? Did you see these protests on Rabbi, do you know what this means?
Yes, it's a call for the destruction of the state of Israel and probably the killing of Jews everywhere.
I do not agree with that, Senator.
You don't think that's hate speech right here?
Long live the Intifada can mean different. As I see the problem,
it can mean different things. Wait a minute. These are protests, violent protests on campuses that targeted Jewish students, attacked them personally, prevented them from going to camp, going to class, put them in fear of their safety after the October 7th attacks on the state of Israel that murdered more Jews than at any time since the Holocaust. And you're saying you think that this is an ambiguous message?
I'm saying that any student targeted on campus, a Jewish student.
Will you condemn this right here? Right here. Long live the Intifada. Will you condemn that?
Condemning Jewish students on a campus is being targeted, and the Office of Civil Rights should successfully be given funding.
Will you condemn this as hate speech?
I think that can be hate speech, but I don't think it's automatically hate speech. The problem is that there's nuance I'm trying to introduce to this conversation.
What's the nuance when these people are marching and calling for Jews to be killed?
Sir, because Intifada also means uprising for Palestinians. The way
so it's ambiguous, so it's hard to say. Well, my gosh. Okay, let's try another one. What about this?
Please, audience will please.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's fine. We know what you think. Right, exactly. I mean, I think you've made it clear. Those who were cheering earlier when Senator Cruz was asking about the attempts to destroy and kill Jews. Let's just be clear about what's going on here, because here's what's happening at this hearing. We can't talk about anti-Semitism without also talking about something else. The message that's being sent today, at this hearing today, is anti-Semitism isn't enough. The attempts to kill Jews on campuses, that's not a conversation worthy of discussion. You've got to add something else to it. So if you want to kill Jews, oh, well, we can't talk about that unless we also talk about 15 other things. And now we have a witness sitting here who will not condemn the attempts on these campuses that are blatantly anti-Semitic tropes, Nazi tropes to try and kill Jews. What about this?
This Senate hearing really exposes the difficult balance between free speech and hate speech. Senator Hawley's frustration is palpable, and the reluctance to outright condemn certain rhetoric only fuels the tension. It's clear that this isn't just about protests or slogans, it's about real threats to Jewish students and the broader implications of letting this rhetoric go unchallenged. What do you think? Is there a line between free speech and hate speech? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this discussion important, don't forget to like, share, and of course, subscribe for more deep dives into these crucial conversations. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.